Okay, so 2-3, day 2. These are biconditionals. A biconditional is a conjunction of a conditional and its converse. Your biconditionals are if and only ifs. If you want to abbreviate that, IFFA or IFF is just if and only if. I've seen it denoted like that, but I haven't seen it for a while, so I might have been in college when I saw it, and it may have been in a classroom textbook I saw it. I'm not entirely sure where I saw it, but you can do it if you would like to. So your symbolic form, this is just showing you it's... Girls, knock it off. Now. Sorry. You've got a conditional, you've got a converse, and then you've got a conjunction, which if you look at that, that's a lot to take in. So the easiest way is P, if and only if, Q. That's how you read it. Your biconditionals are true when both the conditional and the converse are true. So you have to determine the truth value of your conditional and your converse separately, and then whether it's true or not. So given the biconditional statement below, write the conditional and converse. Determine the truth value of the biconditional. Explain why or why not. We're not going to do the explaining on the paper. We're going to do it verbally, just so you know. Shh, please, go. So, two angles are supplementary if and only if the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. So you have to take this and split it into two separate statements. So we're going to take two angles are supplementary, and we're going to make that statement P. The sum of their measures is 180 degrees. We're going to make that statement Q. We need to change that into conditional, which is if P, then Q. So if two angles are supplementary, then the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Your converse, however, is if Q, then P. So it takes this statement and flips it, which means we're starting back here. If the sum of two angle measures is 180 degrees, then they're supplementary. If you want to read that, that's fine. On this one, you have to add your angles in over here, because otherwise you're saying if the sum of the measures is 180 degrees, then two angles are supplementary. You have to have the angles in the first part so that you know what you're talking about. So now go back through and determine the truth value. If two angles are supplementary, then the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. That is the definition of supplementary angles, so that one's true. Back down here, if the sum of two angles measures is 180 degrees, then they're supplementary. Well, that's true because it's saying the same exact thing. So the truth value of this is true. Number 2, I wear my snow boots if and only if it snows. So I wear my snow boots is statement P. It snows is statement Q. So if I wear my snow boots, then it snows. Well, that's like saying you are the most rockin' meteorologist in the world. Like, hey, I put on my snow boots today. It's going to snow because I wore my snow boots. That does not make sense. That's false. I mean, it'd be awesome if it worked that way, but... And then you've got to do your converse. So if it snows, then I wear my snow boots. That makes a lot more sense. I mean, it's true because logically speaking, you would wear your snow boots when it snows. Does everybody do it? No. So this is where you've got to use your logic instead of personal opinion on that. Your truth value is false. They both have to be true for this to be true. So number 3, x squared equals 25 if and only if x equals 5. So x squared equals 25 is going to be statement P. X equals 5 is going to be statement Q. So if x squared equals 25, then x equals 5. Well, that's false. Because if x equals negative 5 squared is also 25. Your converse flip-flops. If x equals 5, then x squared equals 25. Well, that's true. 5 times 5 is 25. So you have a... Oh, fiddlesticks, sorry. So you've got a false and a true, which makes this false. Number 4, I will get 10% off if and only if I spend at least $75. So I will get 10% off is going to be statement P. I spend at least $75 is going to be statement Q. If I get 10% off, then I spent at least $75. Well, that's true based on our statement. Converse, if I spent at least $75, then I will get 10% off. That's true. So if I've got a true and a true, then overall, my entire biconditional statement is true. I don't know, Logan. Check the other couch over there. So, next page. Next page is Mind Your P's and Q's. It's a graphic organizer for logic statements. So this is just kind of reminding you how all of these are interconnected and related. So you've got your compound statements. So use the statements below to write the compound statements. So you've got statement P. They put below and below. Sorry. P, vertical angles are congruent. Well, that's true. We know that's true. We're going to go ahead and identify our truth values right off the bat. Statement Q is 15 is a prime number. Well, that's false. Prime numbers are only divisible by 1 in itself. 15 is divisible by 3 and 5 also. So a conjunction is an and. So this is P and Q. You've got to write it that way. Vertical angles are congruent and 15 is a prime number. If you remember, for a conjunction, you have to have true, true for our statement to be true. Well, currently we have true, false, which makes our statement false. A disjunction is an or. Remember, an or, a true, false. Oh, let's write all this out. A true, true is true. A true, false is true. And a false, true is true. Might help if I actually showed you that. So the only way to get a false with a disjunction is if you have two F's. Well, vertical angles are congruent. That's true. Or, and the whole difference maker is that or. 15 is a prime number. 15 is a prime number is false, but I have a true or false, and because I only need to have one true, it's true. Sorry. Then we move on to conditionals and our related statements. So we're using these statements. It is St. Patrick's Day and it is March. Conditional is if P then Q. So if it is St. Patrick's Day, then it is March. Well, if it's St. Patrick's Day, it's March. I mean, you can't get around that. That one's true. Your inverse, you negate both statements P and Q. If it is not St. Patrick's Day, then it is not March. Well, if it's not St. Patrick's Day, it could still be March 1st and be in March. So that one's false. Your converse, you take your conditional and flip-flop. If it is March, then it is St. Patrick's Day. That is false. There are more days in March than St. Patrick's Day. Your contrapositive is negating your converse, so insert nots. If it is not March, then it is not St. Patrick's Day. That one's true. If you're not in the month of March, you cannot have a St. Patty's Day. And then your biconditional. So if it is, no. It doesn't start with an if. It is St. Patrick's Day if and only if it is March. Remember, for biconditionals, you have to look at the conditional and the converse. You have to look at those two statements. Both of those statements have to be true for our biconditional to be true. Conditional was true, converse was false. So because the conditional is true and the converse is false, our biconditional is false. I know that's a lot again. Sorry, guys.